Last weekend, we brought in Nizan Mosery from Boca Raton, Florida, right here to Denver to share a little bit of information with our Denver apartment network. Now, we recorded this event, which I'm really glad because he came with a ton of value. So today you're going to learn a few takeaways. One of my favorites is that you can get involved in a multifamily sooner and easier by partnering with a sponsor that's already been doing it. So without further ado, here's my friend Nizan Mosery with a ton of actionable content.
Z-A-N. It sounds like Nissan or something, or Nizan, but it's actually Nizan, like pizza has that T. So I meet this guy named Nizan Mosery, and he really impressed me. There was a lot of things that he had going, and he has charisma, and you can see that he's that type of person that goes and talks to these brokers and actually pulls in these deals. Then I meet his partner, which you'll talk about your partner today?
Sure.
Right now, I think she has blue hair.
She's getting it changed today. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She's getting it changed today. I've seen her with all sorts of hairstyles. She's a phenomenal person. So if you guys can kind of get to know Nizan a little bit, I think you'll really enjoy it. One of the things that you'll get after this first presentation, we're going to do breakouts. So look at your name tags right now. What color do you have? Is it yellow? Is it green? Is it pink? Or is it orange? Or is it yellow, green, orange, or blue? All right, so yellows, look at your name tag and find out, am I yellow? Then this is where you're going to go in the breakout session. Yellow, orange over there. Look at your name tag, memorize, am I orange? So you know exactly where you're going to go after Nizan talks. Blue, in this corner over here. Everybody who's blue, point to your corner. And everyone who's green, point to your corner. All right. We got some smart green people because I didn't even have to tell them. That was really good. But there was only one corner left, so I think it was a little bit easy. Welcome to Denver Apartment Network. Thrilled that you're here. You're going to get so much value out of these. Over here, we're going to be talking about if you are a syndicator and you have somebody who wants to invest passively in your deal, but they don't think that they have any money. In this corner today, you're going to actually learn how you can help them unlock their retirement account so that it can be self-directed and go into your deal, because there's trillions of dollars there. So there's actually going to be some actionable steps of how you can help your investors do that. Over here, we're going to be talking about raising private capital. I've raised myself $4.2 million now. It's nothing to write home about, but it is more than I did last year, and I'm happy about it. I'm thrilled about it, and I've had a lot of challenges doing that. So over here, I'm going to teach you how I raise money, and it's going to be a lot about question and answer. So if you want to know how did you do that, how'd you do that, it's a lot about branding. We'll get into it. Back in that corner over there, we're going over something called a PPM. Raise your hand if you know what PPM stands for. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put my hand like this, and you're going to say the first word of it. Then I'm going to do this, and you're going to say the second word of it. And I'm going to go like this, and you're going to say the third word of PPM. So what does it mean?
Private placement memorandum.
All right, raise your hand if you're super comfortable with the private placement memorandum and all its ins and outs. One person, two people. Nizan's one of them. So that's great. So today we want to make it so this isn't some taboo subject anymore. We want to kind of make it easier for you to understand what is this private placement memorandum. If I'm a passive and I need to know how to read this and know is it in my favor or is it in their favor? Because you have a attorney, a syndication attorney, an SEC attorney that's actually going to write this PPM. Probably going to write it for their client. So you want to know what is in this and how do you understand it. So you'll get a little bit of that over there. And then the last one, we're going to talk about actually, so that's a lot of the equity. So we've got equity raising, right? How do you do that? And now we've got debt raising in the other corner. Who knew that there was more than 3 ways to fund a commercial property? Raise your hand. If you already knew there was more than 3 ways to, okay. Awesome. So you're going to learn a lot of that subject matter on what can I do, because it's not all just your local bank. There's a lot of other lenders. So I'm excited for you to learn that. Who's excited for today? Okay, we just won't do it then. Cool. Go home. Who's excited for today? we got Nizan Mosery again. Say it with a TZ. You'll drive him nuts. You can't do business with Nizan if you're not going to say the T in Nizan. He'll turn his head. All right, without further ado, Nizan Mosery.
Hi, how are you? Adam, that was awesome, man. That was fantastic. Wow, you guys are awesome, man. Great energy. My name is Nizan Mosery. It's spelled Nizan. Yes, my name is misspelled. It's a Hebrew name. My parents, when they came over here from Israel, they didn't know how to speak English or spell English, so I've been going around my entire life, 48 years on this planet, with a misspelled name, trying to correct it. Nizan. I've read it all. Pizza. It's great. A little bit about me. About 10 years ago, I moved back to the United States. I was living in Israel. Before that, I was a traveling hippie. I had dreadlocks below my butt. There's actually a YouTube video somewhere, I think, circulating where I was at a David Lindahl event, and I raised about $10,000 about 4 years ago. We donated it to the Wounded Warrior Foundation. That's when I cut my hair for that organization. Yeah, it's a fantastic organization. I got started, like I said, in multifamily about 10 years ago. I was brought up, my father always taught my brothers and I a couple of things. He said, there's two types of people in this world. Those that pay rent and those that collect. And son, you always want to collect. You always want to collect rent. You never want to be on that side where you're paying. But when I came back from the army, I did a little stint in the Israeli army. When I came back, I was living at home. And then my father one day came into the shower at 11 o'clock and asked me what I was doing. I should be going to sleep so I could look for a job. And I told him I was going out to party. And at that moment, I realized that I had to go out and find my own place, but I didn't have enough money to buy a house in New York City. I'm originally from New York City. I was born and raised there. As you can tell, my accent and the speed of how I'm talking. If I'm talking too fast, just raise your hand and just do this for me, okay? And I will slow down. We got a lot of information to cover today, and I'm really excited to be here. So Denver is the what? Mile High City. Are you all members of the Mile High Club as well? Is that like a thing that goes hand in hand? Yeah? All right, see a lot of you are going to shaking your head. Yeah, that's it. So when I moved back to Florida, when I moved back to the U.S., I moved to Florida. I didn't want to move back to New York. Too hectic. I was born and raised there. I had enough of it. In some places I make you sing, and that goes off. So if you want to sing, just call your next door neighbor right now. They'll get up and sing. But when I moved back to the States, we moved to Florida. And I didn't know anybody in Florida. I didn't know anything about the Florida market or my backyard or anything. So I immersed myself in all the different real estate associations, investor meetings, meetup groups, things of that nature. I went around and I was talking and met everyone. From Miami all the way up to Jupiter, which is, an hour and a half south to an hour and a half north of where I was, or where I live. And that's where I met my business partner, the girl with the blue hair. I learned very, very quickly in my life that I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the smartest guy. I don't know how to use half the things on the computer. What I do know is that I need to surround myself with people who are smarter than me and who can get the job done a lot better than I can. And I went around networking with that in mind, and that's where I met my business partner, Laura. She is originally from France. She lived in Miami. She has a double master's in economics from University of Orleans and University of Miami. So when I heard her talking and asking questions, and I kept bumping into her in every different meeting, I understood that this is a person I need to connect with. Because either we're going to be competitors and competing, or we're going to be partners and we're going to be going places. So I approached her and we sat down, we had lunch, and we became partners, and we created Cornerstone Investment Partners. There's a lot of cornerstones out there, I know. It's tough, but it's great because people come to me and they say, "Are you that cornerstone?" Sure, yeah, absolutely. Whatever cornerstone you want me to be, that's who I am. Oh, you're the big guys? Absolutely, we're the big guys. Right? But we're going to talk today about sponsoring, what it is to be a sponsor. Do you guys know what it means to be a sponsor? And I'm not talking about like an AA sponsor, right? I'm talking about a multifamily commercial sponsor. Do you guys know what that is? Anybody? Yeah? Okay, we got 2-3 people here. So a sponsor is like the captain of the ship. How many captains does a ship have? One, right? What does the captain know how to do? Almost anything on the ship, right? The captain knows how to navigate, but he or she won't navigate. The captain knows how to fix the engines, but isn't the mechanic. The skipper knows how to plot the points along the way, the waypoints, right? But again, they're not the navigator. They know how to pilot the ship, but they're not the pilot. So a sponsor in our industry is someone who has the experience in that type of asset class that you want to get involved in. For example, I'm a sponsor for multifamily apartment complexes, hotels, and marinas. What does that mean? That means that we've done multifamily, we have experience, we have a track record. We have a track record with hotels, and we have a track record with multifamily, with marinas. So when we're going to a lender, Fannie, Freddie, CMBS, local banks, it doesn't matter who, they're going to ask, what experience do you have in that asset class? What do you know about multifamily? What do you know about hotels? Well, if you go and say, you know what, I don't know anything. I've been flipping houses for the last 30 years, which is fantastic. I flip houses, I still flip houses today. But that's not going to get you the loan. That's not going to get you the best rate, the best debt that the lender can give you. They want to see someone on your team who has the experience, who has a track record, who knows how to navigate rough waters and come out ahead and not sink the ship, right? You want a good skipper, right? You want a skipper who knows, well, you know what? Up, there's a landmine right here. You want to scoot over, right? No, don't go there, go here. So that's what a sponsor is. The sponsor is also somebody who has the net worth of the debt that you're getting on the property. For example, if you're buying a property that's $10 million, okay, and you're getting a 70% loan to value, how much is the bank lending you? $7 million. Right? Because it's a $10 million project, right? $10 million project, they're going to lend you $7 million. They want to see that you have a net worth of $7 million. If you don't have a net worth of $7 million, they're going to say, sorry, you can't be the skipper. We're not going to give you the money. They also want to see, as you as the sponsor, that you have liquidity. Why do they want to know that you are liquid? Why does a lender want to know that you have money in the bank? Anybody?
Pay the debt, fix the problems.
Fix the problem, reserves. They want to know that if the market takes a nosedive and the income of the property is not there and you can barely afford the debt, they want to know that the sponsor, right, the skipper, has enough money that he or she can take out of their bank account and pay down the mortgage payment every month, okay, without going into foreclosure. The lenders, they don't want to take back the property. That's not their business. They want to push paper. They want to lend money, right? That's what they want to do. So they want to make sure that the person running the show, okay, has the experience, has the net worth and liquidity enough so that you can take down this property. Okay? Now, let's say you're working with a sponsor and the sponsor has a net worth of $5 million, has $100,000 liquids. That's okay. And you want to buy a $10 million property. You're allowed to take more than one sponsor into your project. Okay? So if one sponsor has the net worth and one sponsor has the liquidity, together they make an entire team, and you can use that to go forward with your sponsors into the project. So are we clear on that, on what sponsors are? Yeah. Right. Now, there are a lot of people out here, there may be sponsors sitting next to you. You don't know who is sitting next to you. So, when there's networking, I talk a lot about networking as well, because networking is very, very important. A lot of times we go to networking events and it's very social. There's probably, a couple of, free drink, some appetizers and people schmoozing and whatnot. I say we have to do what's called strategic networking. To find your strategic partner. Before going to a networking event, what I like to do is I like to write down a list of what I need, what I bring to the table. So what do I bring to the table? I bring net worth, liquidity, track record, experience, blah, 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 blah. Time. I bring broker relations. I bring investor relations. I bring fund administration. So I bring all that. And then I write down a list of what I'm lacking. What do I need? Who do I want to find specifically in this event? And like this, when I'm meeting, hey, what's your name? Lucas, nice to meet you. My name is Nizan. So what do? You buy apartments. Great. Well, and I will sit there, and I already have in my mind 3 or 4 specific questions that I'm going to ask Lucas to find out if he's the right guy for me. Right? Because time is of the essence. Time is important. Time is the one thing we can never get back. So if I'm here and I'm spending my time, I want to make sure that I'm doing it in such a way that I will reap the most out of it, and Lucas as well. Lucas doesn't want to talk to me if he's a multifamily and I'm doing office buildings, maybe somewhere down the road. But right now, Lucas, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Listen, I've got 3 people I need to meet today. Strategic partners, it's a pleasure meeting you. Let's stay in touch. Boom, and I'm off to the other person. Does that make sense when we're networking? All right, so let's go into this. So Cornerstone, we're talking about quality investments, quality returns, and in today's economic environment, it's becoming more and more difficult to find quality investments that give a great return. And that's why you have to have a sponsor or a team that has great broker relations. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But just quickly, I got to make my... Okay, you see? I need people who are smarter than me. Off, on. Excellent. Yes, I got it. All right, so this is my, my little thing that I got to say where, I'm not giving you an offering today. We follow the SEC regulation. The SEC has very strict guidelines, okay? And part of your team, you want to have a great SEC attorney. You know what SEC stands for? Securities and Exchange Commission. Guys on Wall Street, basically, right? That write the laws on, how to keep Bernie Madoff and, out of your pockets and stuff like that. So when we're investing in a PPM, in a private placement memorandum, we're asking investors to buy a security. They're not really buying real estate. They're buying a security in a real estate, in a company that will own the real estate. So we have to abide by SEC regulations, and we do that very, very strongly. So that's my disclaimer right here. I'm not going to sell you anything. We abide by SEC regulations completely 100%. All right. We're talking about sponsors, right? We're talking about who are the sponsors. So Cornerstone, we have the sponsors, and through our personal relationships with key decision makers, gatekeepers, brokers, sellers, this helps us achieve and maintain a steady flow of properties. Okay? And when you're looking at a sponsor, when you're looking to team up with a sponsor, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sponsor, you guys have a property. I would like to come and partner up with you. I would like to invest with you. Or, if you guys have those broker relations already, and you find a property after you've underwritten it, and after you've gone to the property, taken a look at it, and you've walked some of the units, and you put the X marks the spot. You said, this is the property we want. The numbers are incredible. There's an incredible upside to it. Then you go and you talk to your sponsor, right? You want to start building relationships with people who can sponsor you now. You don't want to just call somebody out of the blue that you haven't, talked to or spoken to and say, hey, Nizan, how are you? I met you 2 years ago. I never once called you, but I got a deal for you. Okay, great. Great. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on. Just email it to me and we'll talk. Actually, you see this picture right here? This is a property that we just closed on 2 weeks ago. It's a 76-unit property that was brought to us, and I'm going to go into the investment package after I do this little shtick here, and show you what we did on it and how we closed it. Having a good sponsor, okay, can really save. Can I say this word, ass? I think I just said it. Will save your ass, okay, when things go sideways. Because this is real estate, right? Real estate sometimes goes sideways, right? You're running a deal, you're talking to investors, you're like, oh yes, I've got $2 million of commitments. I talked to all my investors, they're ready to rock and roll, and as soon as you send out the PPM, you can't raise $50,000. Or 3 weeks before you're closing, the lender comes and retrades. You know what that word retrade means? Anybody? No? Nobody? Are you guys awake? Yeah? Should I speak faster? Yes. Okay. You guys know what retrading means? Right? When you go and you put a copy in the contract for one price and you go back to the seller and you say, well, you know what, we found X, Y, and Z. It's not really worth that much. We want to go and retrade. Lenders retrade as well. And I'm going to go into it on what happened to us over here 2 weeks before closing. So when you have a good sponsor, when you have a good team in place, you can end up closing on it. And that's what we did. So what we like to do as sponsors, we like to seek like-minded individuals, like-minded investors, right? I don't want to go and start begging people or trying to educate my investors, right? What I like to do is, well, let me rephrase that. We do educate our investors. We educate them on the marketplace that we're going into. Why this market, right? Why are we here? What's the reason? Why multifamily? Why real estate? Oh, no. Real estate is volatile. Real estate is crazy. Oh my God, we just lost money. We just did whatever it is. So we want to work with people who understand, hey, this is an investment. It's a risk, right? There is the possibility that we're going to lose money. In anything, right? You invest in the stock market, you invest in cryptocurrency, you invest in whatever. There is an opportunity or a probability that you may lose your money, right? What we like to do is we like to minimize the risk involved by creating a team around us, by doing our due diligence correctly, okay? That's what kind of separates us from everybody else. Is when we go into a property, we underwrite it in such a conservative way that if anything does go sideways, if the market suddenly takes a dip, if something happens, we are prepared for it because we underwrote it in such a way that we can ride the wave, right? Ride that down wave until it comes back up. So we like to work with people who understand this is an investment, it's a risk, we like real estate, there's going to be, a hold period where we're holding your money through the investment period. So we want to work with people who understand that, okay? Our mission to bring small investors together so they can achieve the same buying power and benefits enjoyed by larger investors in the purchase of commercial real estate. When I was a younger guy, walking around, Midtown Manhattan, Times Square, I would look up at the Empire State Building, at the Twin Towers, and I was like, God, who has so much money that they can build or buy something like this? The Empire State Building, huge, right? One of my business partners, his name is Abraham Ween, his cousin Leonard Ween was partners with the Hemsleys when they syndicated the Empire State Building. They syndicated it. They got the PPM, they did their pro forma, they did their underwriting, they spoke to their investors, and they said this is going to be a gem. It's going to be a movie with King Kong. It's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. We're going to make tons of money. All right? So we want to help people, the average Joe. Right? And remember, I was a hippie. Really, I was a hippie with long hair, traveling the world, with an empty backpack, going from party to party. And when I realized that, I had my first daughter, and I realized when I was 36 years old, I said, okay, it's time to grow up. Right? It's time to get serious now. But how can I become one of those bigger people? And when I was growing up, I always understood real estate. You have money, you buy a piece of land, a house, a condo, whatever it was, with your own money, and that's how you went about doing it. You could gather up some partners together, but it was mainly 1 or 2 or 3 people, and you had to use your own money. Until I met David Lindoff, and he said, no. He said, nay. You don't need to use your money. Let me show you how you can do this with other people's money. And I said, great, I ain't got money. I'm a hippie. I was running around. I was making jewelry and, giving people massages to make money, right, while I was traveling. So if a hippie traveling can do this, anybody can do it. You just got to get educated. You got to build the right team, okay? So we want to help small investors achieve massive success. The more people I can help achieve success, I will achieve my success along that way as well. It's not about me, it's about everybody else. So how do we do stuff? I think you guys are pretty knowledgeable about the process, but we'll just go through it real quick. So we go out, we research emerging markets. You guys know that phrase, emerging markets? Yes? No? Yes? Yes? I need feedback, so I know that I'm connecting with you. All right? Awesome. Great. So an emerging market quickly is a market that was down and is now coming up for a couple of reasons. One main reason is, what's the holy grail of real estate? Okay. The number, what? Job growth. Right? We go into a market that there is job growth. That is the holy market. That is the holy grail for it. So we go in, we find that emerging market, We have relations with brokers in that market. We go in, they start feeding us properties, but before they do that, we tell them where we want properties. We say, look, I want this area right here on this corridor because I went to the Economic Development Committee in City Hall. I spoke to the Chamber of Commerce, and they said that this is where the path of progress is going. We all know what the path of progress is, right? Where they're building, right? Future builds coming. And we say, this is where we want to buy. And then they go out and they use their relations with the sellers and they start funneling us projects, okay? Once we find the project, we do our due diligence, and we do our due diligence extremely, extremely efficiently and with a fine-tooth comb because we want to uncover all the hidden gems, all that upside that other people don't necessarily see. And we become experts in that market, okay? It's so important to become an expert, okay? You need to know why is the job growth happening here? Why is it going on? What's happening in this market? How many multifamilies are being built? What's the entry to barrier? Okay. Are there any more properties in the pipeline in this area? How many people are moving from this city to this city? Where are they moving to? Why is it happening in this market? It's extremely important to understand that. And I'll give you an example. Remember those man camps that were being built a couple years back out in, where was it, like Utah, Dakotas and whatnot? Huge man camps. They were coming in, putting down containers, right, of prefab homes. Men would come, they'd sit there, and they were drilling for natural oil and shale and whatnot. And then what happened? Prices went down. And if you look at all those man camps, has anybody heard of a man camp in the last 5 years? No, they don't exist. So if you went and said, wow, that's an emerging area right there, because look at all these people coming here, and you didn't really investigate why they were coming, and you bought a property there, right now your property would probably be vacant, because you really didn't do the research and understand why this was popping. This was a temporary pop, okay? So we go out, we find the best properties in that market, we become the experts, we put it under contract, we create the PPM with our SEC attorney, then we send it out to our investors. We create the underwriting, our pro forma, our projections, okay? And we underwrite extremely conservative. That property I showed you that we just bought, we bought it at a 6 cap. And you're probably saying to yourself, oh my God, how can you make money on a 6 cap? Well, we bought it at a 6 cap. Our exit strategy is to sell it at an 8.5 cap. Now you're probably going, wait a minute. You don't make money that way. Well, we're doing that. We bought that property because the rents are anywhere between $100 to $150 below market. So once we jack up our NOI based on the purchase price that we bought it, we're going to be at an 8.5 cap rate, right? But our projections want to be conservative. Will we sell it at an 8.5 cap? Probably not. We'll probably sell it at a 7 cap. So we just made more money by dropping that cap rate down. But if it works, if the numbers work at an 8.5 cap rate, and they throw off a good return for our investors under a conservative underwriting, then we know we've got a good deal. Because if we just drop it to an 8 cap, we made more money. If we drop it to a 7.5, a 7, what happens if we sell it at a 6.5 cap rate? We just made so much more money. And our investors love us. But we always like to underpromise and overdeliver, right? So then we open up we create the LLCs. We start then funneling our investors into the LLC, and then we go to closing. Once we go to closing, we get all the documents. At that point, you will receive what's called a certificate of ownership, your name, how much you invested, all that good stuff. And then we bring in our third-party property management company. We're not property managers. We don't want to manage properties, right? We're syndicated. We go out there. We find the deals. We put them together. We bring everybody together. We let the professionals manage the asset. And we have great relationships all around the country with great management companies that we've worked with before that have been really successful for us. And one great way when you're building a relationship with a management company in the market that you want to buy in, it's always good to send them the property that you're underwriting. Even before you underwrite it. Send them the broker's offering memorandum. See what that property manager has to say. We bought a 240-unit complex in Houston, about 6 miles south of the Exxon Mobil campus. It was spending $300 million. They were moving all their employees there. For about a year before that, we had been sending the property management company that we were building a relationship with all the property. Hey, what do you think about that? Nope. What do you think about that? Nope. What do you think about that one? Nope. This? Nope. No. 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 I'm like, dude, really? Everything is a no? Say, hey, you want a good one? Bring us a good one, and we'll say yes. We finally brought them that project, and they said yes. Jump on it. Our program was to hold it for like 3 to 5 years. Renovate, do the whole process and everything. In year 2, we got an unsolicited offer. We bought the property for, I want to say $7 million and change. 7 million and change. Within 2 years, we got an unsolicited offer for $9.5 million. How many of you would have jumped on it? How many of you would have taken it, right? You made $2 million in 2 years. How many of you would take that deal? Absolutely, right? We said no. We said no. We said our pro forma, our projections show us making more money if we hold on to it. So why would we do that? So we told the broker, no, thank you. We appreciate it, but no. He came back, he said 9.5. I said no. How about 10? He said no. I said, how about 10.25? Write it up. Write it up. 10.25, we went on the contract, they backed out. We said, okay, no problem, we're good. He came back with another bite, he goes, how about 10.5? Write it up. 10.5. We sold that property for $10.5 million after 2 years and 4 months of owning it. And we gave our investors over, whatever it was, over 24% return per year on the money. But the point is that we knew that market. My business partner went to live in Texas so that she could become the expert and understand where are the little hidden nuances of that market. Where is the right place to go? Because on this side of the street, you don't want to go there. On this side of the street, oh wow, this is the side of the street you want to be on. But if you don't know that and you lie on the wrong side of the street, it could cost you and your investors a lot of money. So that's why you want to be the expert, and that's why you want to have a great property management company on your team. And depending on the type of deal that we do, depending if we're raising debt, equity, or regular equity, preferred equity, and depending on what we're doing to the property, if it's a huge renovation, if it's a repositioning, we probably won't have a lot of money from cash flow to give back to our investors, but we let them know in the PPM. This is what's going to be. Maybe the first year, 2 years, there's not going to be any cash flow. Doesn't mean that you don't earn money. It just means that you aren't getting paid yet. When we sell, we take that arrearages that we owe you, and that's what's called a preferred return. Your arrearages, right? If we didn't pay you your 8% from the cash flow in year 1, and we didn't pay you in year 2, when we sell, you get that money. You get that 8% for year 1, year 2, and all that we didn't pay you, right? But we always lay it out in the document, so it's always transparent. Okay? We pay out, and if possible, we'll pay out distributions. We usually pay out on a quarterly basis. Right now, we're looking to move to paying it in a monthly basis. How would you like to go to your mailbox every single month, you open it up and go, oh, hello, and you just walk down to the bank and you just go, hello, Mr. or Mrs. Teller, please deposit this into my bank account, right? Every single month. That's a great opportunity. That's a great way to become financially independent, right? What is wealth? Wealth is not having $5 million in the bank, right? Because that $5 million, you still have to work. You still have to wake up every day. You still have to go to your whatever job, CEO, company, and continue to work. True wealth is having passive residual income every single month so that you can do whatever it is you want with your time. Because time is the one thing we can never get back, right? We lose $1, we can make $2, it's okay, we covered our losses and whatnot. Time you can never get back. So how would it be for you if you made $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month not doing anything? Or you do it once and you continue reaping the rewards for it, right? That's true wealth. And that's what we want to create. We want to help people achieve incredible amounts of wealth. And after the whole time, we go out, we sell the property, right? We put it on the market, you sell it, we give you back your return of capital that you invested, plus any money, any profits that come back to you, and then we do it again. Now, if I went out and I said to you, hey guys, we just closed on a property, you made 10, 15, 20% on your money, would you like to do it again? How many of you would say yes? Let's do it again. Absolutely. And that's how we build. That's what a good sponsor does. A good sponsor also stays in touch with you throughout the whole period. Right? You want to partner up with someone who's got great communication skills, can put together reports very well so that you can communicate to your investor. One thing you don't want to do is go silent. Right? You wire your $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, and then you don't hear from them 3-4 months. Hey, crickets, right? You're crickets. You don't want that. You want to be completely and utterly transparent, and you want to talk to people. So, now, sponsorship, right? This is what we hear. I just wanted to basically give you a little rundown of what we do and of how we do things and so forth. So, sponsorship. We talked about what is a sponsor, right? Skipper of the ship has a net worth, liquidity, track record in that asset class that you want to buy in, right? Don't go to a lender with someone who does self-storage and say, hey, we're buying a $20 million multifamily project. They're going to say, I'm sorry. This guy, maybe has the net worth and liquidity, but they don't have the track record of the history of multifamily. So you want to mix apples with apples, okay? Why do we need a sponsor? We talked about that, right? We need someone with experience. Now, a sponsor, like myself, there are a couple of different types of sponsors. There's a sponsor that says, you know what, I will sign on the dotted line, I will sign on the mortgage documents, I will sign wherever you want me to sign, give me my share, and go run with it. Enjoy. There are some sponsors that will do that. They want to be silent sponsors. Don't bother me with anything. I'll be on the monthly calls, make sure my check is in the mail, and so forth, right? That's not how we work, okay? We like to be somewhat hands-on, right? If you've never done a project before, if you've never closed on a multifamily deal, well, we're going to be the ones I don't want to say running the show, because it's a team effort, right? But we will take point on that team, okay? And we will say, okay, Tracy, I need you now to, go out and talk to this guys and bring back, create the executive summary. Here's the information, right? I need you guys to do this. And so we're a team, right? But we will be very hands-on with that project, okay? We will be there. We will talk to the property management company. We have Monday morning reports every Monday. I love Mondays. How many of you like getting up on Monday, right? Going to work, right? I love Mondays. Because I get to my office, I click up, open my computer, and the first 3 hours of my Monday morning just going over all my Monday morning reports. And then Monday afternoon, I have conference calls with all my property managers and say, hey, what's going on? Why did you renew that lease for only $15? Do you know what our goal is? Do you know what our budget is, our pro forma? And if they're not doing what we want them to do, guess what? They're not part of our team anymore. Okay? So why do we need a sponsor? We need a sponsor that knows how to navigate you through the rough waters to get you to the end destination, which is obviously raising the NOI, doing the renovations, bringing in a quality demographics of tenants, of residents, and then also, why is it important to have a sponsor? To know when to exit, right? A sponsor always looks at the market, what's going on in the market, what's happening. Are people moving out? Are people moving in? Are restaurants closing in the area? Why are they closing? Are new restaurants coming in? So this is what we do as a sponsor. This is what we do. And we say, okay, you know what? Now, hit the button, quick. Let's go out and sell the property for maximum dollars. This is the time to do it, right? So this is why we need a sponsor. How can a sponsor help me? Right? We just talked about that, right? A sponsor can also help you by underwriting. Okay? Where do I find a sponsor? I'm just going to put these up here. Okay. So, how can a sponsor help me? Where do I find a qualified sponsor? And when should I engage in a sponsor? Okay? Engage in a sponsor today. It doesn't matter if you don't have a project under contract, if you've never done a multifamily deal, if you've never even spoken to a broker. Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is you need to start building your team now. Do you hear the echo? Or is it just me? Okay. You need to build your team now Okay, so that when you have that project, when you have that property, you've underwritten it, and the skies open up, and the heavens rain upon you, and you hear that, oh, right? The numbers work. You're like, oh my God, really? The cash on cash is great. The debt service coverage ratio is phenomenal. The numbers work. Okay, now what? Okay, let me go talk to people. Now it's a little bit too late. Especially now in the time in the market, because the market is so hot. You need to move quickly. If you don't have your team together already, you're going to miss the boat, because while you're contemplating, while you're talking to or finding a broker or finding a real estate attorney or anybody on your team, someone's already put a contract, an LOI. They've got their LOI accepted. You know what an LOI is? Yes? Yeah? You do? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Letter of intent, right? Somebody else will come in and put their letter of intent, and now you've lost it. So when to engage a sponsor? Today. Where do you find them? Talk. Network. Right? Network around. Adam's in the back. He can help you find incredible sponsors. Right? I actually, with David Lindahl, one of my mentors, I MC a weekend that's called the Sponsorship Weekend, where students of his, like myself, who have achieved success, who've closed on properties before and achieved a track record, have the liquidity and net worth and so forth, he puts 15 sponsors in a room for an entire weekend. And you get to drill them, you get to know them, ask them questions. What have you done? How many foreclosures have you been involved in? How much money have you lost in real estate? All these things. When you are looking for a sponsor, when you're looking to create your team, even a business partner, do a background check. Find out who they are, right? You don't want to make the mistake that I did and not do a background check on someone and then find out that they were not the most upstanding person, right? And because of my lack of due diligence on them, we lost money. Did I learn my lesson? Absolutely. We do background checks on everybody that we work with. If you want to work with us, we will run a background check. I want to know who you are. And you should run a background check on me as well. Right? Everybody can talk, right? You know how you can tell when somebody is, BSing you? Their lips are moving, right? So you want to make sure that you do your background checks on a sponsor. When should I engage a sponsor? Immediately. However, I need a little help with another sponsor just because of the liquidity aspect, right? As a sponsor, sometimes lenders want to see you throw money in the game. It's called having skin in the game, right? They want to see the sponsor having money in the deal so that they know you're not going to just walk away. So when you're doing deal, suddenly you as a sponsor, you're going, whoa, I got no money anymore. I need liquidity. I need cash. So we brought in another sponsor, and then we brought in another team to help us with the equity. And my point is, when we got on the phone with the seller, because we were in highest and best, when we got on the phone with the seller, the other guys that brought us the deal, they didn't say a word. They said, just quiet. Let us talk to the seller. Let us answer. Because we know the lingo, we know the jargon, we know what they want to hear, and we know what we can do. So after 20 minutes on the phone with them, I said, listen, if you want to close, you need to work with me. Because everybody else, they're going to give you the better price, and they're going to retrade you 3 weeks before closing. They're going to do whatever. If you want to close this deal, do not go with anybody else. We're the team to go with. And they awarded us the deal because of that phone conversation. So that's why it's great. That's why it's crucial for you to now engage your team members. Okay? Did I drill that in enough? No? You need to engage your sponsors now so that when you have a deal under contract, you don't waste your time doing it. You can actually get awarded the contract. Okay? Now, why real estate? Economic forces, multifamily housing is up in all major markets, 14 million echo boomers, right? More people are renting today than they're buying. Social forces, universities on the quest for housing, latest economic downturn, technology, there's so much technology today for management software, for tenant or resident retention, for all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of it. I want to go now. Smart investors take advantage of the demographic trends that exist in the market today, as well as low occupancies and low values by buying in the right markets at the right time, are going to set yourselves up to receive higher than average returns in the years to come. We bought a property in the beginning of the year where, again, these are projections, right? We like to under-promise and over-deliver. The projection was about 23% return per year once we sell the project, but we're giving an 8% return throughout the whole period. Why are we able to get those returns? Not everybody will be able to get those returns. Why are we able to go out and find these properties? Because we're the experts in the market. We know where to look. We have incredible relationships with people. This business is all about relationships. All about relationships. You need to have incredible relationships to build your portfolio. Because people will do business with you. Why? 3 reasons. Why will people do business with you?
They trust you.
They know you. First of all, they got to know you. They don't know you. They don't know that you're in the game. They need to like you. Why would you do business with someone you can't stand? Why would you do? Because you're getting married to this person, right? If you're getting involved in a project, your money, or you're going to be tied up with these people on your team for the next 3 to 5 years on this one particular project. Why would you do that with someone you don't like? Why?
Smart, and they have a skill set.
Find someone that you like that has smart. There are smart people out there that have a skill set that you can work with. Because if you don't like them, you're not going to want to get on the phone and talk to them. You're not going to want to go and meet them at the property. You're not going to want to be involved in anything that they do, and that's going to hinder your success. You need to deal with people that you like, because you know what? I talk to my business partners more than I talk to my wife. When I wake up, the first thing I do is I text my business partner. What's going on? What's happening? Even before I turn around and I say good morning to my wife. Okay? The last person I talk to is not my wife. The last person before I go to bed are my business partners. All right, so this is what we've got going on tomorrow. Great. I'll talk to you at 7:30 in the morning. Good night. Bye. And then I go to sleep. You need to like these people, because you know what's also going to happen? You're going to achieve success with these people. You're going to achieve success. Hopefully, you're going to have massive success. And then what? Then you're going to want to go out on vacation. You want to go on to hang out and go places. You want to go on vacation and hang out with people you don't like? No, absolutely not. And you're going to find yourself getting into a lot more issues with people that you don't like, and it's going to be just a lot of drama. And we want it to be out. Know, like, and then trust. They've got to trust you. You've got to build that trust. People are not going to give you their money if they don't trust you. I found out in all the years that I've been on this, on spaceship Earth, I like to call it, right? Little amount of time, 48 years. But I found, bless you, I found out that it doesn't matter what you sell. Because I used to sell knives door to door in Manhattan, when Manhattan wasn't nice like it was today. Okay? I had the knife, but you know what happened? Sometimes the guys, when they opened the door, they would take the knives and they would chase me down the hall with my knives, throwing them at me. Get out of here! Right? Because they didn't know me. They definitely didn't like me. And they didn't trust me. Right? I sold shoes. I had clothing stores. I had restaurants. I did all kinds of businesses. And throughout that, I found out it doesn't really matter what you're selling. It makes no difference. People are not going to buy the product you're selling. They're going to buy you. They're going to buy the product because you build a relationship with them. I have a sign on my wall that says, successful people do the hardest thing. They build relationships. Okay? So, also, if you guys would like, I'm a radio show host. I have an internet radio program. It's called The Traveling Investor. I bring on, Adam's going to be on my show. We got to time that. We got to set him up for him to come. I interview people who are successful. A lot of them are successful in real estate. A lot of them are successful in other things. Have you ever heard of a book called Blue Ocean Strategies? Okay? If you haven't, get the book. Okay, it was written by Harvard professors. It talks about finding a niche in a market that is played out, that is dead. For example, how many of us have heard of Cirque du Soleil? Right? What is that? Isn't that just like the circus on steroids? Right? But who goes to circuses anymore, right? There's all this movements about, the animal treatment and all these things. And aren't we done with the clowns and jumping up and doing all these boring things, right? So what the book teaches, it says, look at the circus. The circus is dead. But this group said, we want to bring back the circus. But we don't want to do it the old-fashioned way. We want to revamp it. We want to do something new to it. We want to take it to the next level. We want to take it to 11, right? They went in, they said, how can we do that? Well, we're going to remove all animals, no animals. We're going to do incredible things, incredible feats, and different amazing things. So they went into what's called the red ocean, right? Circuses and the same kind of industry. And they said, how can we do that? What can we do? And then they went and they created what's called the blue ocean, where they revamped this new thing. Airbnb, blue ocean strategy, right? How many hotels are there? There's hotels everywhere, right? Airbnb is the largest, I don't want to call it hotel, but largest hospitality company in the world that doesn't own a single room. But they're the largest in the world. They are a blue ocean strategy. Uber, right? Uber doesn't own one medallion, but they have our services all around the world now. So read the blue ocean strategy. So I invite investors, I invite people, entrepreneurs on my show, and we talk about their success strategy, their philosophies, why they were successful, the challenges, okay? How they got back up after getting beaten down, right? The Reverend Mike Tyson, you guys heard of Mike Tyson? I love him, he's great. Mike Tyson, the fighter, right? He has a great saying. He goes, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. How many times have you got punched in the face? What has made you get up every single time? It's not how hard you get punched. It's not how many times you get punched. And believe me, this is real estate. You will get punched. You will fall down. You will wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. But it's not how hard or how many times you get knocked down. It's how fast can you get back up. How fast can you get back up? And my show talks about that. Helps people to stay motivated, get inspired. It's on w4cy.com. You can download the app. It's live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can call in, you can text, send in your questions, all that, and so forth. There's my contact info and my business partner's info. And right now, what I want to do real quick is I want to go over a property that we were given. Somebody brought to us a property, and we underwrote it, we analyzed it, we put together a property package. So this is the property that was brought to us, okay? The guy went out, doesn't have the liquidity, doesn't have the net worth, but has incredible relationships with brokers. Not only that, he went out, he worked for other family offices. You guys know what a family office is? Family office is a very, very wealthy family that now does everything in-house, okay? They have their own investment brokers, broker dealers. They do everything in-house for the family, and they're very wealthy. So he worked for several family offices, actually going out, building relationships with brokers, underwriting properties, but never, ever had to come up with his own money, never had to come up with his own credit, never had to do anything. Just find the deal, underwrite it. If it worked, if it fit the criteria of the family office, then he would just ship it upstairs, and then they would close on it. They would bring in the capital. So he came to me and he said, listen, I've got these great opportunities. I need your help. He said, okay, let's talk about it, right? He said, I want to put an LOI on this property. This is the deal. And this is it right here. Let's talk about the market first, okay? Later on, we're going to talk about how to find the right market, what all the different things about markets and so forth. He's an expert in this market, okay? He lives about 4 hours away, and I think 3 days out of the week he drives to the Atlanta market. He lives in Nashville. He drives to Atlanta, meets with the brokers, talks to them, walks the properties, drives the properties. 3-4 times a week he does this. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He knows this market better than anybody. He knows why it's good to buy this property in this street rather than that one on that street, because that one has already been updated, renovated, and they've already taken their property where it is. But this property right here, that's a B plus property. This is a B minus property. So people who can't afford to pay $1,000 will all day pay $850 for this property. And this property, the rents are $500. So is there a lot of upside? Yes, a lot of upside. So he knows the market really well. So he brought us this property. Now, if you notice, I don't know if you can see here, but maybe. So, single stories, they are fourplexes. So quads all around the property, around trees, really nice, secluded. There's a Starbucks less than a mile away. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Good. That's a good thing, right? There's a Domino's right next to the Starbucks. There are a couple of other national franchises in the new strip mall that they built. Why is that a good thing? Because Starbucks does their demographics and says, people in this market have extra cash to pay $4 or $5 for a cup of coffee. We're going here. So if they have that extra spendable money, is that a place where we want to invest in? Absolutely. Domino's as well, right? Now, we put this together ourselves. Okay? We have a virtual assistant in somewhere. I don't know where, right? We send them, again, it took us a lot of time, a long time to get the template together. But now all we do is we send them the information, right? And they just stick it into the format and they pop it out. So we have our disclaimers and all that stuff. And this is the guy right here, Benjamin Inman. This is the guy that brought us the deal. Okay? So his name is on there. Right there. He is part of the managing team, the general partner, right? In the syndication, you have what's called limited partners, our investors, right? And they're called limited partners because they have a limited say in what goes on the property. They don't have a say on what goes on day to day. That's why they need to trust you. That's why they need to trust your track record, right? Because they don't have a say in what's going on. They have a say if the general partners aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. If the general partners are doing something illegal, then they have a right to come in and to vote you out. But limited partners. So we have limited partners, we have general partners. So we are part of the general partners together. And that's how he is able to have this in his portfolio and create wealth for himself and his family as well. That's the table of contents. The investment opportunity, okay? You see rental income upside from both renovations and organic rent growth. We want to be in a market that is going to take the property up, the appreciation, right? If we don't touch the property, if we don't renovate it, we know that the market itself, what's happening, the growth will organically raise the rent. But what we want to do is first, we want to give our residents a nice place to live. We want them to be proud of where they live because we want our investors to be proud as well, right? And so you got the growth of the market, and then you've got us going in there, renovating the units, making it really nice, curb appeal, all that. Rents go up, your NOI goes up. And here you see it says sponsors are offering investors Class A members, that's the limited partners, your Class A members, $1,000 shares with a minimum of 50 shares. So the minimum investment into this deal was $50,000. I had somebody that came up to me and said, hey, Nizan, listen, I only have $35,000, but I want to invest it. Can we do that? I said, you know what? I will make an exception. In our PPM, it allows us to make exceptions, one-off, okay, but it's not for everyone. Okay, we don't do this for everyone. The offering is up to $1.8 million in equity. That's what we were raising. 98% occupied, 76-unit garden style, constructed in 1984. So all these things are important. 1984. We don't like to buy anything older than that, really, because when we go to sell it, it just becomes that much older, and then your pool of buyers becomes that much smaller. So that's why we like to do 1980s, 1990s build up to 2000. So when Ben brought us this project, he said, this is the deal, sent us the underwriting. The first thing that we did, we underwrote it again ourselves. Okay? Because I don't know if he knows how to underwrite. Yeah, he works for other companies, but you know what? We're human beings. We make mistakes. When you're creating the Excel formula, sometimes a plus turns into a minus. Sometimes, you put the decimal in the wrong place. So we went and we underwrote it ourselves to make sure that we see exactly what he sees in the upside. And then I got on a plane, like I did yesterday, and I flew to the property, and I met him there. And we walked the property. This is what I do. I went and I walked the property. I walked inside the units, met the tenants. Do you like living here? If you had the opportunity to change something, what would it be? Oh, the bugs. They don't spray. They this. The blah, blah, whatever it is. When you walk the property and you talk to the residents living there, that's when you get the real information. And I'm not afraid to talk to anybody that's on site. Even if the manager says, please don't talk to anybody. Okay, no worries. Thank you, I appreciate that. And you see somebody throwing the garbage. Hey, excuse me, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. What do you like about the property? What don't you like about the property? And then I ask the manager on site, I say, hey, if you had unlimited amounts of money, what would be the first 3 things you would change about this property? Boom, 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 boom. They give you about 10 things that they do. And I'm taking notes because these guys are on site every single day. They know the property back and forth. So this is a great time for us to really understand the property and understand that this is what we want. So, the investment opportunity right here. Over a 5-year hold scenario, we assume a conservative 8.5 exit cap rate where the Class A members are projected to receive a 53.3% total cash flow distribution projected as a 10.7 annualized cash distribution during the hold period. That's from cash flow. Then, during the holding period, and a projected total return of 117.6 return, 0.6% return. That's when we sell. So you got your cash flow, that's coming from the monthly cash flow, and then you have the equity when you sell, right? When we sell, we pay off all the expenses, the mortgage, whatever expenses we have. We give back any arrearages that we owe our investors, right? And then we divide the equity. Usually the splits that we do is we give 70% of the cash flow and the equity to our investors. We give them the lion's share of the deal, okay? Even though we're doing all the work. Even though sometimes we're working for peanuts, okay? But my goal is to make you, as my investor, happy, okay? So we give 70% of the cash flow, and we take 30%. If that 70% at any given point in time doesn't match up, where is it? We gave it 8% preferred return. If it doesn't match that 8%, if it's like a 5%, that's 70% of the cash flow, we will take from our 30% and bump up our investors until they make that 8%. And if we have to give them all the cash flow, well, so be it. That's what we do. And even if it's not enough, because sometimes we do heavy renovations and people leave, rents go down, right, and so forth, and we plan that out, well, we wait till we sell and then we give them what we missed on the end, okay? So after a 5-year hold, it's 117.6% out of 20, and that divide that by 5, that's what you make per year. And this is at an 8.5% exit cap rate, where the market today is selling at 6. Do you think we have a lot of buffer for these go sideways, right? And this is just some salient information, purchase price, total equity, so forth. I'm going to fly through this a little bit. So this is where we get, you see the investors' accumulated cash flow, that's their total, and the equity distribution at sale, and that's where we get that number. So what we like to do is we really like to show everybody. We put in why invest in Mosery apartments. The market. It's the #1 fastest growing county in the country, in the state of Georgia, top 5 in the market. Okay, this is where we like to be at. The business plan, what we want to do, how long we're going to do it. And we always throw in nice pictures. Isn't that a nice looking asset? I mean, it's beautiful. We did our inspection, we did everything. Right down here, as a result of combining the rental upside of these two factors, we are projecting the property net operating to grow from its current underperforming 12 months of $250,000, that's the NOI, to approximately $535 in year 5. Is that a good upside? Is that a good upside?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Who's making 23.5% a year on their money? Anybody, really, anybody. How about 15%? 20%, right? Not many. It's not out there, right? And this is what a good sponsor will do. So he brought this to us. We went, we underwrote it, we put the property package together. And if you guys want, I'll send this to Adam. You guys can have the slide showing and everything, so you guys can take a look. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to go real quick. Highlights of the property, what it is, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Pictures, right? You always want to see good pictures. Now, why did we like this property so much? When I flew out there and we were walking units, we walked. We went and we drove around to the other properties as well, the comparable properties, right? We know that word comparable, right? Apples to apples. There are three other properties a few miles down the road from this property that are exactly identical. You see the 1980 construction here, right? With these shelves and whatnot. Exactly the same unit. Same build out. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. They had these shelves and whatnot. They were achieving $100 more than our pro forma numbers with their light renovation. While we had this property under contract, the property manager was already bumping rents up without doing renovations higher than what our pro forma numbers were. Did you get that? I'm going to say it again, because it's crucial. The property manager on site, while we had the property under contract, was already raising rents to higher than what we projected after renovating the property. This is what a strong market can do for you. This is what knowing what the market is and where to buy and the right time to buy. Okay? And we had that in our other property. We bought another property close to this one, a few miles away in Commerce, Georgia. By the way, this is in Lilburn, Georgia. 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes outside of Athens, outside of Atlanta. It's I just what I was going to say. Commerce. We bought another one where it was the same kind of deal. While we had it under contract, they were raising rents higher than our projection after we were going to renovate it. Okay? Now, when we close on the property, on this one and the other one, the first one that we bought, we are now bumping up rents without doing anything higher than our projection. Our projections for the other property were to get it to $750, $740, $750 from $680. After putting about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 into each unit, we're getting new leases now for $760, and we haven't even touched the property and renovated it. Okay? That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because we know that once we put the property, once we renovate it, we're going to take it to 800, maybe even more. Okay? More information, right? Renovation budget, all that kind of stuff, projected returns. So this is what we do when somebody brings us a property. We go out, we make it happen. If the numbers don't work, we're not going to force the numbers, right? We're just not going to make it happen. The numbers have to work. But us as sponsors, we go out, we'll fly, we'll walk the property, we'll walk the comparables, we'll walk the market, we'll talk to the brokers, we'll do what we have to do to make it happen. And then, right, we talked about lenders retrading. I'm going to share this one story with you, and then I got to go because I want you guys to do your breakout session. Property, we put it under contract, $4.41 million. We got a CMBS loan. Anybody know what a CMBS loan is? Commercial mortgage-backed securities. It's a mortgage that is backed by the stock market, where you go and you sell it to the stock market, okay? So, they're very stringent, they're very tight, very strict on their regulations, on their underwriting and paperwork for every investor, blah, blah, blah. So we were working with a CMBS lender. They gave us the best loan to value, 81% loan to value, 81% loan to cost. So $4.4 million plus $185,000 plus closing costs plus 81% of that they were going to give to us. Basically $3.4 million. Fantastic. We started raising capital. We're there. We're 2 weeks from closing. You can smell that closing company. You can smell it. You're like, yes. Now here I am. I'm on vacation with my family. I'm in Shenandoah Mountains. I'm hanging out, hiking, doing what I need to do. We get on the phone with the lender. And the lender goes, hey guys, you made a mistake in your underwriting. I said, excuse me? You made a mistake in your underwriting. I said, listen, if we made a mistake in our underwriting, I am going to quit this business today. I have no right, being in this business. I made a mistake in our underwriting. We made a mistake, the team. We got on the phone with their underwriter, and we got them to say 3 times on the phone that it was their mistake. It wasn't ours. We showed them where their mistake was. Did it help us? Didn't help us. They went from $3.4 million loan proceeds, they dropped it to 2.7. $700,000. We went back to our investors and we said, listen, this is what happens because we are transparent. We tell our investors everything because you need to know. We want you to know the good and the bad. We went out, we told our investors this is what's going to happen. One of our investors said, listen, there's too much going on. I got my health. I got to go to India. I'm taking my $500,000 and I'm going with taking it with me. So now we're down $1.2 million. 2 weeks before closing. What would you guys do?
Get on the phone.
Did we get punched in the face? Oh, did we get punched in the face? Big time, right? Big time. But because we had good relationships, because we have a great network of investors, because we have a great team, because we say what we're going to do and we do what we're going to say, we changed horses midstream. We told the CMBS lender, listen, we can't close with you right now. We're going to close with you, but not yet. Hold on. We got a hard money lender that came in for $3.3 million. Boom, 2 weeks later we closed with them. And that's what a good sponsor can do for you. Okay? So I'm out of time. I hope you guys got some good information, some good knowledge and whatnot. I'm going to send Adam my slides here so that you can go over them, check everything out, our financials, our operating cash flows, all this. You can see how much information is put into these property taxes. Okay? There's a lot of information. And one thing I want to share with you real quick, and then I'm going to shut up. I like to give you what-if scenarios. What if this happens? What if that happens? This is a what-if scenario. You see the green? Right? That's year 5. That's the year that we project we're going to sell. This right here is where we wrote our numbers. Year 5, 8.5 exit cap rate, right? What happens if the market goes sideways and there's a hiccup and we have to hold it for another 2 years? Year 7, and we sell it at an 8.5 cap rate. Oh wow, look at that. We actually made more money. We made more money if we held it for 2 more years. What if, what if we couldn't sell it at an 8.5 cap rate? What if the market again went